everyone. Today we got to play Spectral. So this is a deduction game, but before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell because board games are amazing and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Now, this game is definitely a deduction game. It's very
much a logic problem.
Yeah, it is very much a logic problem. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
I can. This is a 2024 release. It's got a Board Game Geek rating of 7.7 and a rank of 12,542. It plays 2 to 5 players, 30 minutes in length. Age recommended is 14 and up. Sarah was able to play it, although I don't know if she fully grasped the logic of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't horrible.
No, and it's something that's going to help her develop those skills, so I don't think 14 up.
Yeah, she wasn't completely devastated or anything like that.
It does have a dark theme to it in the sense that you're in a kind of a haunted house type environment, but it wasn't anything that bad. Art is by Bridget Indelicato and Kwanchai Moriah. Published by Bitewing Games, and as you mentioned, it's a deduction game, but it's also listed as area, majority, and influence control, which I can see.
Yeah.
Auction and bidding, that seems a little bit of a stretch. I can understand where they're getting it, but it seems like a little stretch. And then betting and bluffing, again, seems like a bit of a stretch for this. I guess what they're saying, because you can put your pieces and try to trick people into replacing yours into a bad location, but...
Oh, I didn't really pay attention to what other people
I
were
would
doing.
consider it a betting or bluffing game. The MSRP for the retail version of this is $45. Now, this is the Kickstarter Deluxe, and it was $85, but it also included the expansion for Trailblazers, which was Ryan Courtney's other game. So Ryan Courtney, in case anyone's unaware, is the designer of Pipeline, which is one of your favorite games. This was really $85 with that expansion included in the bundled price, so it's probably more like about $65, $70 if you take that out of the picture. The retail version is pre-ordered at Miniature Market for $45, and interestingly, Tabletop Merchant has it for $49, which is above MSRP. So I'm not sure exactly, maybe the MSRP for the retail version on Kickstarter was slightly cheaper, possibly. Maybe it's $50 retail MSRP or something, but it seems like they're a bit steep on prices when they're coming out.
Okay, alright, so let's talk about the actual component quality. Now, this is the, deluxe version. The biggest difference probably is the scoring markers.
Well, it's these, it's these gems. They come with cardboard gems. If you get the retail version, it's also in the deluxe, but we didn't punch them because these gems are amazing. Mm-hmm. And then the other piece would be these play mats.
Yep. Qualitative components wise, I mean, the mats, I kind of don't like the fact that they're in the 4-quadrant thing. It just seems weird. It's hard to place your people.
I think it's more the curling of the mat that's the issue. The play mat being in the 4 quadrants doesn't bother me in the sense that there's rules that apply to the different quadrants. So it makes it easy to recognize those divisions.
Yeah, I guess so,
But yeah, as far as... Because otherwise, when you're flipping, you're marking it with these little cardboard triangles, which is kind of cheap looking. I would prefer just to ignore it and use the boundaries of these territories. So I don't mind the playmats, except for the fact that they rolled them so tight to put them in the box that now they're curled really bad. So if you try to put your pieces along the edges, which is where you're supposed to put them, there's a tendency for them to fall over.
So, or shift or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and then I don't know. I'm probably gonna give this a 6.5. I mean, there's some cool things.
Wow. Okay, well, you're totally different than me.
I guess you got screen printed.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm a 9 on this. I mean, I think...
Really?
Yeah, I think the gems are amazing. Now, this is just the deluxe version.
Yeah.
The screen printed wood bits, those are both in the retail and the
okay, maybe...
The playmats, you've got all these books are custom. Now, I wish there were more pages to them, but you're going to have to make copies pretty quick in this, because if you play this a lot, they're two-sided, though, which is nice, but you're going to, ultimately, this is kind of like your clue sheets, if you will. You're going to need to make copies, because these books are not going to last forever. But yeah, I mean, I think given the fact that what this game is, every component is upgraded in it, except for the little triangles, which
I think maybe
are a waste.
maybe this just bugs me. I mean, the books are really nice. I mean, I guess you have some valid points. I just am annoyed with the
yeah.
And that's a personal preference. So.
I mean, I would have given it a 10 if it weren't for the curling.
All right, guys, so let's move on to the actual theme. The theme is really layered on. It's really just a logic puzzle. The skulls are going to end up places you don't want to be there. And I know it has to do with, obviously, a specter.
Well, that's what the little skulls represent. They're curses that you're basically exploring the house looking for these treasures, and these specters are throughout the house, and you have to figure out where they are.
Or where they're going to move to.
Yeah, but the problem is you're sacrificing some of your explorers to do that. So while they're going through the house, you're putting them next to tiles to look and see what's there. But if a skull pops over there, which you're not going to know right away, you're going to kind of hoping you're at the mercy of hoping somebody comes over and boots you out to get that information. If so, then you'll save your person.
Yeah. But it is it's not critical to the game. However, it does have really pretty art. I think the color palette's very, very pretty. So I can appreciate that on that component. What are you thinking on score for the theme?
I mean, it's definitely layered on, but I think it's an interesting theme. I think the art, like you said, is well done, particularly on the gems. I think they're beautiful. I really like the skull gems in particular. And they made them all different. They're not one set.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that was really cool.
Yeah, and there's a little mini expansion that comes with 4 more of those gems, and those are really cool too. So I think from a themes perspective, I'll probably give it a 7, because I don't think gameplay doesn't really necessarily closely tie to the story, but it's a logic puzzle, and I think it's a fun theme to go with it.
Mm-hmm. All right, I can kind of get on board with that, mainly because the art's that good, and it's very eye-appeasing. All right, so moving on to the actual rulebook, how was that for you?
So the rulebook is 16 pages in length. It's small, because the main box, it's got to fit into the retail version. It does match the cover of the box. It has, the setup of this is super simple. It's got all the components pictured and the counts of them. It's got the layout of how you put it together. They have little folders included for you to shuffle. There's basically letters A through D that you shuffle, and you put them into envelopes, and then you shuffle the envelopes. So you have 4 different rows, A through D, that you always know where they go, and it's real easily set up. I mean, it's got the instructions on one page to do that with a lot of pictures. Then you have your gameplay, which really is 2 different options. You search a hallway, or you pass your turn. Then they have the instructions in the retail version of the main cards you get, showing you the different rules that can apply. There are some additional cards in there that give you variants on those rules, and they have some of the information on that as far as advanced modules on the back. And then they show you how they recommend you make notes in your notebook, which I think is useful. It's pretty much the path that I followed on it. And then how you scored at the end of the game. So I think it's very straightforward. I think they've done an excellent job. And also, it's another one that has this nice feel to it. It's got the textured, it doesn't feel like paper feel. I love these rule books. So from that perspective, I'm giving this a 10.
Okay, all right.
It's beautiful, it's nice feeling, and it's quick to the game. That's what you want, especially in a short game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so moving to the actual gameplay, you kind of already covered.
It's a very simple game.
Right. So basically, you have your workers, and you can either choose to place a worker or pass.
Now, the cards would normally be face down. This was at the end of the game after we scored, but all these are going to be facing the same direction, which is another thing I like, because it forces people that don't necessarily do that to do that for me.
I may have left things turned around on purpose, just for you.
Uh-huh.
All right, so it's my turn. I have 2 workers. I have a level 4 and a level 1, so I've got a couple of options. I can choose to place my 1 on any empty corridor. However, I can't bump anybody with a level 1. So if it's already taken, it's taken. Now, I know due to some previous exploring that this corner is bad juju.
I rank this whole bottom row. You just wanted to stay away from it.
There was one. This one was the only good one. So I don't want to go do that, but I am going to take my 4 and maybe bump somebody because I discovered some other things. So I'm going to bump this one.
That would be Sarah's. You're bumping your daughter.
Oh, no. All right, so then I have a choice. I can either look at this card or look at this card. Actually, I looked at both cards in this game, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to look at this, and then it's going to tell me to, it's going to show me some information. So I'm going to write that in my book, because I can, with this, figure out where a gem's going to be. So it's telling me if I go into this inner circle twice, that's where the gem will be. Now I'll be able to place that here and notate that so I know where the gems are. So when I go look, I can look at maybe where I already know a gem is going to be. So at least, very least, there's hope of me getting that
There's
one.
possibility you could get multiple gems in one location, or you could get a gem and a skull at the same location, which kind of stinks because that knocks one of the scoring options out of
So
play.
yeah, because when you go to score, if there is a skull at that location, all the workers get removed and no one gets any victory points. So that kind of...
Not only removed, they're removed from the game. So,
right.
Because you get points for unused workers. If you don't assign them and keep them, you get points based upon player count, how many that you have left. But in this case, they don't go back to your pool. They go out of the game completely. So you've lost points no matter how you look at it. Yeah,
so it's just something to kind of keep in mind. Overall, this is a logic puzzle. It's a cute little logic puzzle. Sarah was able to play it. I think she kind of enjoyed it. I think if you're in the mood and you're wanting to deal with more... Because most of the time, logic puzzles are kind of by yourself, and that can sometimes be a little, like, antisocial. So this way, you got to get the best of both worlds. You get your logic puzzle, and you get to deal with people.
Yeah, because you're bumping people, and that's where the auction or bidding comes in, because you're putting 1 or 2. If there's somebody who has 1 there, you can put a 2 to bump them, or if you really want to enforce it, you can put 4 down. As long as you always have to bump with twice whatever is at that location, and it becomes unappealing to take that bump if it gets too high, because the scoring may not be worth the bump.
Yeah, because if it's only 1 or you're just trying to see a card and you don't know what's there, it may not be worth it to you. Giving it a score, Randy.
I really enjoy this game. I love logic puzzles in general, so this one really appealed to me, and the theme is appealing to me. I think I'm probably a 7 on it. I don't think it's a simple game, so it doesn't have enough meat to it to merit too high, but in my eyes. But as far as if I want to play a quick little logic puzzle game, I think this one is I'm going to get out a lot, and I think 7 is a good score for it.
Okay, absolutely. I'm just a little bit lower to 6.5. But I like logic puzzles too, and I think it's a good little game. I think it's great for a quick one. I definitely see us pulling this one out if we're wanting something quick with our friends. And the instructions are pretty simple, so it's very versatile for other people. So overall, good thing. Alright guys, well, we really enjoyed having you. Hopefully you'll come hang out with us again. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.